Hi, it's Jay here again today. Today, I would like you guys to share on your page, subscribe to our channel, and then like the page as well. Don't forget also to click the notification button, because every time we put something out, you'll be able to get it as soon as possible. Today, I'm going to go through the Bible a little bit. I've always believed that the Bible has always been African history, but it has been taught wrong by our colonial masters. They came to Africa, giving us a Bible, which is our own history, and taught us how to read it in a different way. So we've read it in that particular pattern where we have not got the real understanding on what the Bible is all about. All right, because once you read the Bible has to relate to you. The Bible has to mean something to you. When I said that, because people read the Bible, yes, the Bible means something to them. That's why they read the Bible. But what I mean is, you have to find yourself in a book. You have to find yourself in it, because if there's a book that you don't find yourself in it, then it becomes like a fictional kind of story, right? But my point is, the Bible has been talking about Africa all along how we're suffering, how everything is going. The Bible has been speaking to us, so we need to bring the Bible home to ourselves. We need to bring it home, and once you do that, then we begin to find the freedom that we're looking for. As the Bible talks about, know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Lack of knowledge, my people perish, and all of that stuff. We begin to get understanding. A friend told me, why don't I preach about salvation? That salvation is understanding the word of God. Salvation is understanding who you are, relating to the word of God. Because if you don't get understanding, salvation will not come. So finding the truth that will set you free automatically gives you that freedom, gives you that salvation that you actually need. So it's all about the truth. So the topic today, I'm going to actually base on Habakkuk. Habakkuk was actually a man with a full passionate for his people, basically. Habakkuk loved his people, because Habakkuk cared so much about the children of Israel at that particular time, and he was really confused, that what was going on with the people, and he didn't understand that these things will actually, people will behave in a certain particular way. He didn't understand that. So then, of course, he approached God trying to find answers. So it became like communication between Habakkuk and God, talking together, trying to find understanding. And then, of course, so I'm going to read a bit of the scriptures, and then, of course, open up a few things up. So now, there we go. This is Habakkuk. This is the message that the prophet Habakkuk received in a vision. Okay, so he received a message in a vision. And to him, I read it now from the 2. How long, O Lord, must I call for help? But you do not listen. Violence is everywhere. I cry, but you do not come and save me. Must I forever see these evil deeds? So Habakkuk experienced disaster in his country, in his nation. Habakkuk saw the people were lawless people. They have no law. They were lawbreakers. The law in the system didn't even work. All right, the law in the system didn't work. People were fighting all over the place. It's violent, and Habakkuk was very tired of seeing that. So, of course, he now approached God in a very different way, trying to find answers on that. So it's the same thing that I want to say now, that most of the pastors that we see today, or most of the preachers that we see today, they are not a nation pastors. They're not a nation building pastors. They are money grabbing pastors. They are deceivers, like sheep, like wolf in a sheep clothes, trying to deceive the people in order to take what their substance, what they have. All right, that's what these new pastors, the generation pastors that we have now. This is their mission, is to grab. But if you read the Bible carefully, all the prophets that God chose them specifically for the nation. He didn't choose them individually for themselves, but he chose them for the nation. He chose them to be there for the nation well-being. I've written a few things, and let me just read that just to highlight one. So God has always been dealing with nations, not individual people. Even though God will call the prophet, but he'll put a burden in your heart for the nations. So if you see any man of God, any so-called men of God, don't have any burden for the nation, but have burden just to do miracles only for money, just to try to deceive people, and all of a sudden you know that he doesn't care. All he thinks about is pocket. He's not thinking about a nation building. He's not thinking about generation coming in there and taking over the world. You know, he's not thinking about building a nation, building the young ones to get into the bank system, to get into the education system, to actually rule the world. You don't see prophets doing that these days, but you see so-called prophets trying to do miracles and trying to do things here and there like that. You see, so that is the difference. Now, when God calls you, he calls you not for yourself, but he calls you for the nation. So that's why he'll put a burden in your heart. Don't you don't think that there were so many people in Habakkuk's time that they saw the people killing each other, they saw the people robbing each other, they saw the people destroying each other. They saw it, but they didn't do anything about it. All right, they didn't care. But it was like a burden for Habakkuk to see the nation healed. All right, to see the nation, to see the policemen stop taking bribes, to see the politicians, sitting up right. All right, it was a burden for him to see him and his people and his race and his black people succeeding and staying on top of the world. So how can you stay on top of the world if you don't groom the young ones coming and teaching them the right ways of living, the right ways to lead and things like that? That was his burden, And I'll read a bit more. So all the African pastors right now has to stop preaching prosperity preaching and all this healing preaching. They have to stop doing that, because there's healing there, there's miracles there, but we need to talk about nation building. We need to talk about how we can actually get set up, and go into the communities and trying to help the community. We need to talk about these things like that. How we can actually create a proper education system for our young ones, to actually to develop and grow to become the young men and the young women that they're supposed to be. You see, so all the great men in the Bible had one particular kind of thing they were concerned. We can talk about Nehemiah. Nehemiah was burdened because it felt like the walls of Israel was broken. It was broken, and he understood that when the walls is broken, when your walls are broken, anybody can come in. Like, let's say for Africa, for example, Africa's walls are broken, and because of that, we have the Chinese coming in, we have the Japanese coming in, we have even the Arabs stepping in and even enslave our people because our walls are broken. This is the kind of burden that you should have in your heart. A nation building prophet that will speak to the nation, prophet that will tell people that, we need to sit up. There's other nations are succeeding, other nations are excelling, but we're not. All right, what is wrong? So we can sit down and draw a plan and strategy in order to also to rule on top of the world. And if we are disobeying some laws of God, then we can actually go back. But now let me read a bit about Habakkuk, and of course I'm going to talk about the reaction and answers that God gave to Habakkuk, and I think I'm going to end there. Right. So Habakkuk is still speaking to God. He's still telling God his burdens, what is actually worrying him about the nation. Why can't Africans unite? Why can't Africa get to be successful? Why do Africa has all these resources but still Africa is poor? Why are we still this? There's no law? The law in Africa doesn't work. Habakkuk is experiencing all of that, and he's actually pouring his heart out to God. So this is him now. I see distraction and violence. I am surrounded by people who love to argue and fight, and that's Africans. We love to argue and we fight unnecessarily. So Habakkuk is standing there just watching all of that. That you could be standing and talking about something positive. You're standing with your brother, planning about the next move, how you can actually develop this farm, how you can make area farm, and so that we can actually feed the poor. You should be discussing that, but you can't argue about unnecessary. We stand there and we argue, and the argument that we do argue is about politics, and it's about Africa cannot unite. Africa cannot. That's the only debate, because we've all given up on ourselves. And Habakkuk was just there sitting there thinking, you know what? You guys don't know what you're talking about. The dry bones that you see today in Africa, can have life. The dry bones, the people of Africa who once ruled can have life again. All right? That's Habakkuk thinking. So he's now communicating to God. So that is what all these men of God, so-called men of God, are supposed to be doing. So if you go into a church and you see a man of God trying to sell you oils and trying to do all those things, please run away from it, because that is not going to save you. What is going to save you is the truth. What's going to save you is the Bible talks about, John chapter 8 verse 32, that know the truth and the truth will set you free. That is what you need. That kind of freedom is what you need, in order to excel. So let me read on. So the law has become paralyzed. The law in Africa has become paralyzed. It doesn't even work. And there is no justice in the court. Even when you go to court and you have money, the judge will plead for you. That's what we actually Africa. That's Africa. That's why I'm saying that the Bible has been speaking about us all along. All right, that's Africa. When you go to court with somebody else and you have more, the more money you have, the more chances of you winning the case. All right. So let's see what he kept on saying. And there are no justice in courts. The wicked far outnumber than the righteous. As we can see, our people are so wicked, all right, that the wicked people in Africa are far more than the righteous people who just want to do genuinely good. The wicked people are more than the righteous. So now let's see what the Lord, because of our actions, because of the actions in Africa, because of our behavior, because of what we're going through, all right. This is the reply of God to Habakkuk, because it was two-way communication. Habakkuk is actually pouring his heart out to God, saying that what is happening to my people? Why are we like this? And God is actually coming to give him an answer. And the answer will tell you that the reason why Africa is the way it is, the reason why the children of Israel, we are the way we are, all right, is because of this. Because this disobedient, we didn't obey the law, and now disaster is actually happening. So God is watching, and God is now even telling Habakkuk, you haven't seen nothing yet. This is what's going to happen. So I'm going to read it. The Lord replied, look around the nations and be amazed at the things that they do. Look around the nation and be amazed. For I am doing something in your days. Something you wouldn't believe. This is what God is saying, that I'm doing something new in your days. The new thing is supposed to be the positive stuff, but this one I don't think it is. It's something fishy that he's going to do because of our wickedness. He's going to do this into our nation. I'm talking about Africa. Even someone told you about it. I am raising up the Babylonians. So God actually stirred up the Babylonians. God said that he's actually raising the Babylonians. You know, as we, people like in Europe, that we call Europe in Europe Babylon, all right? The ancient Babylon. So he's actually raising the Babylonians, all right? The Babylonians, cruel and violent people, they will march across the world. They will conquer the land. That's why we've seen the Chinese conquering the world. That's why we've seen the conquest of the English people going to Africa and invade Africa and colonize Africa and enslave us. This is what happened. That was a conversation that God spoke to Habakkuk a long time ago, and we've seen that happening. But when we read the Bible, we don't take notice on that. All right. So they will march across the world and conquer our land. They are notorious for their cruelty. So these people coming to Africa to colonize Africa, they're notorious and cruel. They are cruel people. They don't mind killing 1,000 people just to take what they want. And these are the people God said he wants to send into us as the children of Israel to destroy us because of our disobedience. And we've seen that happen in history, but we don't take notice. But now we need to pay attention to the Bible, that the Bible has always been speaking to you. Okay. And whether they like their horses, their horses are swift. Their chariots are finest. They like that the wolf are ducks. Well, yeah. So basically, these people chariots. Yeah. When you read forward, which I think you should read Habakkuk chapter 1. Just read the whole chapter 1. Of course, I'm not skipping to the 2 yet, but there's another time. Read the whole 1. You can tell that the people God is saying that the people that the Babylonians I'm going to send to you to destroy you, they will enslave you. They come in to capture your parents and enslave them. They will actually come into your land. They'll come into your land and take every single thing you want. But he also gave an examples on how they are going to come, how powerful they are. All right, they come swift. They come with planes and bombs, and they come with all those stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you can see who the Bible was actually referring to when he talked about Babylonians coming into your town to destroy you. Those are the people God himself sent to us. Those are the people God decided to send to us. That's why there's distraction in Africa. That's why Africans has been distracted for a very long time. When I talk about Africa, I'm talking about a whole black nation. That's why we've been distracted, because of our disobedience. The other nations might disobey God because God didn't call them. Okay, God has always been dealing with the children of Israel, his own promised children. That's why everywhere we go, we're supposed to have success, but then again, we have sorrow because we are God's people. It's not because we are God's people, so we're supposed to go through suffering. We are God's people, but he needs us. We were supposed to rule the world. We were supposed to change the heart of these Edomians and these Moabites and turn their heart to God. We were supposed to be leading them. But through saying that we didn't lead them, now he's sending them now to rule over us and destroy us. So this is the kind of message the pastors, so-called pastors, supposed to be telling a nation building. All right, a nation crying. Ezekiel talks about the same thing, the dry bones. All right, the dry bones, can flesh come in Africa? Can Africa be, have breath again? So we read all the scriptures, but what are we thinking? We're thinking so far as if the story is just somewhere else, but the story is relevant today. All right, so this is what I have for you today. I want you to share this message. I'm going to come and conclude the part 2 of Habakkuk, and also we can skip into the Ezekiel, we can skip into the Isaiah, you can skip into the Nehemiah, and also the Ecclesiastes, and you realize that the Bible has been talking about us all along. So when you read the Bible, don't read the Bible and think that the children of Israel are over there. You are the children of Israel. And I'm actually talking to my black people. Well, I mean, mainly, okay, to our people, because we are the bottom of the society at the moment, and we need to rise ourselves back up. And this is what we need, the truth, and that will set us free, according to the Bible. So this is what I have for you today, and all the best, many blessings to you. And stay blessed, and don't just read the Bible, find out history about the Bible, find a lot of information with the Bible. That's how you get the knowledge that God is saying that you should get. Lack of knowledge, my people perish. We're not going to perish if we have this understanding and knowledge that we need. Thank you for taking your time to listen, and subscribe, share this video, and then you will be blessed. Thank you.